If you're a copywriter just starting out or a business owner that's trying to save a little money by writing your own marketing materials, then you have a lot to learn. But I believe that the following 5 copywriting tips will give your marketing materials a much greater chance of success. One of the first things that you'll probably hear is content is king. But to avoid a lot of amateur mistakes, you're going to need to understand exactly what that means. Content is the reason behind all of your marketing materials. It's the message that you're using to sell yourself, your product, your business, whatever. So to be successful, you need to avoid some common pitfalls. Never believe that print is dead. No matter how technologically advanced our society gets, we will always need printed media. Because if you think about it, websites, press releases, white papers, direct sales, any kind of marketing material that you do, no matter how technological it is, at its base is content, is printed word. So no matter how digital we become, we will always need the printed word to get our message across. The next pitfall would be believing that great design is more important than solid copy. I've worked with a lot of web designers that have fallen into this trap, and I can understand where they're coming from. They spend a lot of time creating beautiful layouts, eye-catching designs, cutting-edge technology to make sure that their website stands out from all the others that are being created. But then they turn around and use poorly written content to fill the website. And they can't understand why they're not getting any conversion, why nobody's visiting their site, why they're not raising up in the rankings. It's pretty simple. No matter how great the website is, it's nothing more than a box that holds the copy. The copy is the vehicle that gets your message across to the reader. It's what convinces them to buy from you. So never believe that all the flash is going to cover up poorly written copy. And the last thing to watch for is not giving your copy the respect it deserves. A lot of web designers and marketers just use copy as a forum to hold their keywords, so that when a search engine spider comes by and searches through their content and finds their keywords, it'll raise them up in the search results. But you can't take a human reader out of the equation. It has to be just as appealing to the reader as it is to a search engine spider, or it's not going to do you any good, because you need a human to tell their friends about you, to link to you from their website, to spread the news that you are the person to buy from. Tip number 1, hook the reader. Most studies show that you have about 5 to 7 seconds to hook your reader and make them interested in reading further. That's not a lot of time. So your title and your first paragraph needs to have your primary points and the best copy that you can create in them. You need to immediately grab the reader's attention and make them want to read through your message to the end, so that they can find out your call to action, what you want them to do, all of the great things that you can do for them. No matter how great your copy is, they'll never read it if they don't get past the title. Tip number 2 is to focus on benefits instead of features. This can be a little bit complicated for people just starting out because it sounds like you're talking about the same thing. But let's use a cell phone as an example. Say you're selling a new cell phone that has phenomenal battery life. It only takes 30 minutes to charge up. It lasts for 5 or 6 days on constant use and a month on standby. Now, all of those are actually features of your battery. So I don't really care about them. They're not making me want to run out and buy the phone. But if you were to tell me that you're offering a phone that saves me time on charging, saves me money on charging because it's not hooked up as long, it offers extra safety because if I'm ever out on the road at night and have a busted tire, then I know that my phone will have a charge and I can call to have a tow. So you need to focus on what your product can do for the reader. Always keep them primarily in mind. Don't just talk about yourself and your product. Tip number 3 is to have a call to action. A call to action is simply telling your audience what it is you want them to do. Marketing materials only have one purpose, and that is to get them to do whatever it is you want them to do, your call of action. So make sure you tell them, make sure you make it very obvious. They won't think you're rude or being too pushy. It's the reason that you're marketing. So if you want them to become a fan on your Facebook page, or if you want them to be part of your Twitter community, you want them to buy your book, you want them to visit your website, decide before you start writing what it is you want them to do and make sure that call of action is in the copy. Tip number 4 is don't use buzzwords. Buzzwords are essentially industry jargon that only people in that industry understand. I have a computer background, so if I was to tell you that I'm going to be creating a new OS that's going to be a true 64-bit system instead of the 32-bit system, that's not really going to tell you anything about what I'm selling. But if I was to tell you that I'm creating a new platform for computers that's going to be like Windows, but it's a 64 system, so it's going to be able to use more memory than a 32-bit system would be able to use. Now that I've defined the terms, you can understand what I'm talking about. So primarily you want to avoid using buzzwords at all, because if your audience doesn't understand what you're talking about, then you're just wasting your time. But if you do need to use a buzzword that's integral to your message, make sure you define it in the copy so that they can follow along. Tip number 5, check and recheck before publishing. This is one of the most important tips, but it's also common sense. You need to make sure that everything you send out is the best you can make it. Nothing will hurt your credibility more than having incorrect information in your copy, having it full of typos or obvious misspellings, because part of the reason behind marketing is to make people believe you're an expert in your field or on the subject you're talking about. So you never want to make them think that you're sloppy or lazy or don't know as much as you think you do. For instance, I was looking over a doctor's website recently, and it was filled with just typos and misspellings, and I was thinking, this may be the webmaster's problem, but if I were looking for a doctor, I would never hire this guy just in case the doctor does make this many mistakes. I wouldn't want him working on me. That's all the tips I have for today, but if you'd like to learn more about marketing and copywriting, you can visit my website at www.designersbf.com. I have a free materials section that has ebooks, reports, and videos that'll teach you more about the ins and outs of copywriting and different kinds of marketing materials. Thank you for listening.